Like all stories, mine is just as thrilling with a hero and a villain from beginning to end. Let me summarize the boring backstory stuff so that we can get to the crux of it all. My name is Kelly Johnson, as the university knows me as U24647502. I was born in a small town called Nelspruit to a family of four, which was my mother, my father, my elder sister, and in a couple of years' time, my baby brother. Unfortunately for me, I was the middle child, which did lead to some middle child syndrome problems, such as trying to figure out the cure for cancer. When I figured I wasn't academically inclined to win a Nobel Peace Prize, I had to set my eyes to observe those around me to figure out what my true purpose in life was. By the time I was 6 years old, my mother had opened her home to her youngest brother named Carl, so that he could start his career journey into the technical world, which is the very start to me learning all about the hardware side of computers. My uncle was my very own Charles Babbage, before I even knew who Charles Babbage was. Might not even be saying his name correctly. I remember I would always be so excited to join him at work after school, just so that he would let me see whatever device he would be fixing that day. While my uncle had showed me the appreciation needed for hardware computers, it was my dad who had showed me the software side to it. I would say that my dad was the jack of all trades. He may have not known how to code and do all that cool hacking stuff, but he sure did know how to install networks and systems. At 13 years old, my dad would boast to me about how important it was for me to find my own passion. While I do tend to only enjoy telling happy stories, it's just ironic that mine isn't the happiest tale to retell. When my dad had asked me to find my passion, that was my hardest task, as I didn't have the will to be here to find out what it was. So while I may have now been living life in solace, it was when I was 15 years old in 2020 that my world was going to change. The transfer to online school was mind changing. It allowed me to realize that work in school could be much more simplified when done online. This was also the time when COVID 19 was at its peak. Like a tragic hero, one has to suffer before they can rise. A year after COVID had surged, my dad had passed away a week before my sister's 18th. His death had fundamentally changed me to my core. It also, weirdly enough, made me want to find my passion in life so that I wouldn't feel like living life was a useless endeavor. My sister had made the bold decision at that time to study informatics, which became my gateway to the coding world. While I was never truly interested in people like Mark Zuckerberg and all those considered IT heroes, I was interested in the people who gamed. I could watch hours of Markiplier and Jacksepticeye playing horror games. With my sister teaching me some code and my artistic talent, I wanted to be that person who created those games and developed those websites. And at 18 years old, it was my turn to choose my degree, and after a lot of research, I knew that I wanted to do multimedia. It was the perfect mix of coding and art, which was exactly what I needed. My sister was now in her second year, and I had spoken with a few of her new friends. One who had done multimedia but transferred over into a computer science program. I must admit, I was a very easily influenced type of person, and when he had explained to me how tough it was, it made me rethink my decision. Not that I didn't believe in myself, but rather I knew my capabilities and limitations. So I took the conclusive decision to do information science instead, as it can be seen on a similar scale as multimedia, but at a different angle and perspective. And this brings me up to date. And after everything that has happened, I would not change the decisions that I have made to my story.